welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we are going to recipe test a vegan eggnog bread pudding, and I'm going to tell you how you could win a $50 Visa gift card just in time for the holidays. So in today's video, I am doing an open YouTube tag and collaboration with some of my best YouTube friends. We've got Jessie from Jessie At Home, Cambriea from Living with Cambriea, Leah from Beauty and Ordinary Things, and Tiff from In My Right Mind. And if you couldn't tell already, we're doing an ugly Christmas sweater tag. So all of their channels are linked down below. One of the ways to win this $50 gift card giveaway, which we will have open until the 20th and announce on December 23rd, is by making your own ugly Christmas sweater video and uploading it to YouTube into our playlist that's linked below. Or if you're not a YouTuber but you want to join the giveaway anyways, put on your best ugly Christmas sweater and post a picture to Instagram and tag me at dairy_state-vegan, and we will collect all of those and then we'll announce our winner on the 23rd live at Tiff In My Right Mind's YouTube channel. I'm going to have all the details down below for exactly how you can qualify for this giveaway, so those are all in my description box. But let's get out of all the business stuff and start cooking. All right, so the first thing we have to do for our bread pudding is I got some day-old bread from my local grocer, and we're gonna tear it up and put it in an oven on low at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes so it can dry out. You could leave it out all night to dry out, but this is the fast way to do it for a bread pudding. I'm just gonna put it on this big Wilson's pan with parchment. You guys, this baking pan, if you don't have one, is the absolute best. It's huge. It's 20.5 inches by 13.25 by 1 inch. I can cook 2 dozen cookies on here at a time, which is great for this time of year. So I'm gonna leave a link in my description box below for this particular Wilson's pan. But it's also great for a lot of surface area to dry out our bread. And you can use any bread you want. I have some brat buns here and then some French bread, and we're just gonna kind of tear it up. You can cube it and be real particular with it, but I'm just gonna tear it up. Once we're done getting the bread torn up and we have it in the oven and drying, I'm then going to kind of clean up my area so I'm prepared for making all the fixings for this bread pudding. I'm a little nervous. I've never recorded a cleaning video before, and the girls I'm collabing with are professionals at it, so hopefully I don't disappoint them with my cleaning skills. I get cards. Now you don't have to buy day-old bread from your grocer, but it's usually cheaper because I have to get rid of it anyways, and it will dry out much faster, and it saves from food waste in your community. Alright, so this looks like about enough bread. I'm going to pop this in my oven at 200 degrees for about 30 minutes. And while this is warming, we're just going to clean up my cooking area before we keep creating this recipe. Hopefully it turns out good. I've never made this before, so we'll find out. Alright, so here we go. My first attempt at filming myself cleaning for you guys. My kitchen is just a little messy still from last night. My husband is obsessed with spicy noodles, and he makes them all the time. But then he leaves a huge mess. I don't know how he makes such a mess. So I need to clean off my stove and my counters and just make sure everything's wiped down and clean and ready for me to start cooking. And then by then our bread should be dry and we can start working on our pan sauce and our recipe creation. So let's get cleaning. I feel like I need Rocky music. So we recently moved into this duplex and there's like all these stains in my sink and I don't want to use really harsh chemicals to get them out. So if any of you have any advice as to how to get existing stains out of your sink, I would love to hear what you do. All right, so now onto the stove that has been destroyed by spicy noodles. I'll show you. Now some of this is there still, like that thing right here never comes off. That was there when we moved in. But this needs to be cleaned before I'm gonna make any type of pan sauce on this stove. A fun little tip, I don't scrub these down all the time, but like right now they're getting near needing to be scrubbed down. So I'm not gonna do them today, but what I'll do is I'll put these in a plastic bag with oven cleaner and then scrub them and they come really clean really easily. All right, so now that we're done tidying up my workspace, let's get into something I'm actually good at, and that is cooking and recipe creating. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a pan sauce. If you've ever had cinnamon rolls or a bread pudding that had that real ooey gooey, caramely, sticky, like syrup on the bottom, the secret to that is a pan sauce, and it's easier than you'd ever think. Okay, so in this pan, I'm gonna put in a whole bunch of Earth Balance vegan butter. Now, like I said, we are recipe creating today, so I don't have measurements for you. This is how I usually create, and then I nail down the measurements later. Now we're gonna put enough in this pan to divide it, because we're gonna need half of it for the pan sauce and half for our custard for the bread pudding. So I would say, I probably put in about a cup. We might need more, I don't know, but we're gonna start there. All right, so once our butter is melted, I'm gonna take about half of it and pour it into this Pyrex cup. It's a little more than a quarter of a cup. And I actually think I'm gonna add a little more butter to this pan. And then while the rest of this butter is melting, I'm gonna add about a quarter of a cup of brown sugar and a dash of vanilla. And that's all we're gonna need to make our pan sauce, which is gonna do exactly what it sounds like. It's gonna go in the bottom of our 9x13 pan before we dump our bread custard mixture in. Make sure you turn your flames down or you're gonna go from getting a pan sauce to a hard candy. So you want this low and just to incorporate together. And then while this is mixing together, I'm gonna take my dried bread out of the oven and I'm gonna preheat my oven to 375 degrees for when we are ready to put our bread in. All right, our pan sauce is complete. I don't know if you can see in there, hang on. That's what it should look like. So I'm gonna pour this in the bottom of our 9x13 pan, and then we're gonna start on the bread pudding. Now this pan I love. It comes with a lid and a thermal pack and a carrier, so I can make warm bread pudding and bring it to my in-laws' house for the holidays. So we're just gonna pour our pan sauce in the bottom, swirl it around so it gets all around. I'm talking about this like I know what I'm doing every step of the way. I'm really just making this up, y'all. We're gonna let this sit while we make our custard. On my holiday nog taste test, you'll know I have a ton of vegan eggnogs left over. So for this bread pudding, I'm making an eggnog bread pudding. I'm gonna use the one we liked the least. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because even though I wouldn't drink this Good Karma nog again, I think if I just spruce it up a little bit with some seasonings and some sugar in a bread pudding, it'll work really well. So I'm gonna dump this into this giant bowl, and we're gonna see what happens with flavor here. At the end of the video, I will taste it and let you know if you should try and duplicate whatever we're making happen in this kitchen. So don't be afraid of it. This is probably 2 cups of the Good Karma nog. I might even need more, and then I'll just grab one of the other ones we taste tested yesterday and just mix it all up. So for now, we're gonna do the eggnog. We're gonna do our melted vegan butter that we had saved. We're gonna add some sugar, like a whole bunch. This is dessert. Real technical terms I'm using. See, this is how your recipe creates. And I have to go back and be like, okay, how much was that? Say it's gonna be about a cup of sugar. And then I'm gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And about a tablespoon or 2 of cinnamon. If y'all have seen my stuffing recipe, this is like stuffing, but sweet. We're gonna whisk these together. Oh, and we need a little vanilla. And I have 2 lids full. Sounds about right. Okay, now before I add my bread to this, I'm just gonna make a couple of flax eggs. So to make a flax egg, you need 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds to 2 tablespoons to 2.5 tablespoons of liquid. So I'm gonna use my ground flax seed. I'm gonna make the equivalent of 3 flax eggs. Nah, 2. We're gonna start with 2. If I find out I don't like it with 2, then next time I make it, I'll do 3. Let's get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I've got 2 tablespoons of flax in there. Now usually you just add water, but this is an eggnog French toast. So I ran out of the Good Karma, so we're using the Trader Joe's nog. This was our second least favorite. And I'm just gonna do 5 tablespoons of this nog to the 2 tablespoons of flax. And then we're gonna let this sit for a minute so it thickens up and gets the consistency of an egg. So while this is sitting, we're gonna mix our dried bread into our custard mixture. Just make sure you mix this well so you don't get like clumps on the bottom. Now you guys, make sure you don't forget in the midst of watching this video that you can enter to win this $50 giveaway. It will be announced on the 23rd of December. So make sure you follow all the instructions in my description box below to get in on this little giveaway. And if you're a fellow YouTuber, I hope you'll do your own ugly Christmas sweater video. All right, so we're gonna add our bread in. Full disclosure, I just dropped bread all over my freshly cleaned stove. I just cleaned for you and messed it up. This is why I have to have cleaning friends on YouTube, because they inspire me to clean the messes I make. Okay, so we're gonna mix this in. You want all the bread very well coated. If it is not soggy enough, it should be pretty darn soggy, add more nog to it. It is really, really hot cooking with this ridiculous sweater on in my kitchen right now. I'm roasting. All right, so I don't think there's quite enough liquid in here, so I'm gonna add about another ½ cup of eggnog, just about a ½ cup at a time. And I'm going to add our flax eggs into here. And we're gonna stir this up again. And then, so here's the great thing about baking vegan is there's nothing in here that can poison me and kill me. So once I get this mixed, I'm gonna try just a small piece of the bread and check our sweetness level. And if I have to add more cinnamon or more sugar or anything, I'll know that even before I bake it. All right, so this is good and incorporated. We're just gonna take off like a little piece and try it. Oh, wow. I think that's perfect. So all I'm gonna add to this now, for some texture, I'm gonna add some craisins and some walnuts because I think those will go really well with that eggnog flavor. This is really, really, really good. So even though we didn't like the good Karma flax milk, just adding some spices and baking it into something like this, such a good idea. So if you have stuff at home that you don't like, don't throw it away. Find a new use for it. I'm just gonna crunch the walnuts in my hands so I get big chunks. If you don't like walnuts, you can use pecans, you can use pistachios, you can use no nuts at all. And I'm going to add a healthy little handful of craisins. These are just a nice way to cut the sweetness. The little pop of tart that isn't just a raisin, you know? All right, once everyone's all happy and cozy and mixed in, we're gonna put it in our 9x13 pan and pop it in the oven for about 45 minutes. We'll check it at 45 minutes. It might need longer, but 45 should be just about perfect. I can't even tell you how good this smells. All right, into the oven she goes, and I'll be back when she's done. All right, our bread pudding is done. It's still hot. It smells awesome. I want you to see the bottom. See how it's like sticky? Got that pan sauce on the bottom. Game changer, y'all. So we're gonna try this and see how we did. And then my kitchen's a mess again after I cleaned it for y'all, but I'm not cleaning it again because I already cleaned it one time today. So I'm gonna try this and let you know how we did. Thanks for creating a recipe with me today. Oh, it's still really hot. It's really soft and custardy, like traditional bread pudding. You really get the eggnog. The only thing I'll say is if I made this again, either A, I would add more sugar to my custard, not much, but maybe like a 1/4 cup more, or B, I could make like a whiskey butter caramel to go over the top, and that would sweeten it right up too. So if you try this, definitely add more sugar or make a caramel sauce for the top. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you want to win that $50 Visa gift card, check the description box below for giveaway details. I hope to see you soon on YouTube or Instagram sporting your own ugly Christmas sweater. Make sure if you like this video to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I've got plenty of fun holiday videos coming out very soon. I'm gonna go eat my dessert before I make dinner, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye!